I'm good. What's going on? I'm just tired of these MAGA Muppets, like sitting over here, like defending Vladimir Putin. Like, imagine, dude. Vladimir Putin, of all people. Psh. Like, what? Where's the blame for fucking. Like, where's the blame for fucking Putin? You know? Where's the blame for Putin? Cam, what'd you go for?
Oh, my bad. I voted for Kamala. Fuck Donald Trump. I'll leave the live. My bad.
What'd you say? Sorry, man.
I said my bad. I didn't mean to join the live. Fuck Donald Trump.
Later. Yeah, it's just incredibly tiring to continue to like. It's so obvious that you would blame Putin, wouldn't you? Like, who escalated this war? Putin. And then these guys try and actually blame fucking Biden this war. And listen, I'm not in the interest right now of even like wasting my breath defending Biden. I'm just saying, like, you sound ridiculous when you fucking blame him. Like, you sound absurd.
What's good, Adam,
Why does
man?
Megaforce didn't bother? Because bother with what? It's because he's a fan. What do you mean? Michael, what's going on? And he's dead wrong on every issue he ever talks about. So it's no shock. But I mean, he's a grown man. His name is Megaforce. So what do you expect? Michael, what's up?
What's up, man? I'm still
Check
feeling a
my
little.
Cash App. Let me see. Oh, I do have some Cash Apps this morning. Let me thank those people really quick. Let me thank those people. Summer, thank you so much. W Summer, thank you so much, Summer. I really appreciate you. Let me read the stuff here. Thomas says Dunkin' Donuts. Thank you, Thomas. Appreciate you, Dunkin' Donuts. Christina, thank you, Christina, for the $1. Chris, thank you so much. And Summer says MAG has education. Summer, thank you. I appreciate you. I appreciate it. If you guys would like to support the live, I forgot to put my thing up today. My Venmo is Adam Cray Politics. If you guys do enjoy the content, I would appreciate supporting. Go ahead, Michael.
I don't know, man. I just really feel like you're. I don't want to say that you're right, man. I feel like betrayed almost, and I'm being dead ass. Still upset about the Pam Bondi pick. I don't agree with it.
Well, tried telling you, Michael. I don't know. It's too late now. Anyway.
But what I'm saying is, when I look at like certain politicians, when I look at like the Senator John N. Kennedy, when I look at like Ron DeSantis or Trump or things like that, I don't just see them as politicians. I see them as like, big brothers almost. And when they lie to me, I don't like it. And I'm being honest with you.
Well, you fell for it, man. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you actually, what are you caught up in this Second Amendment thing? You mean?
Yeah, I'm caught up in it, man, and I feel like she's gonna take our. I don't know. She's like extremely against. I don't know if you've seen it, but she's the only attorney general in Florida that went against the Second Amendment, man. And I'm kind of worried. Once again, like I said, if I knew this was gonna happen, I should have just voted for Kamala. But
Yeah. I don't know.
yeah,
But
man. So
listen, man, it is what it is. What can I tell you? I mean, you made the decision, right?
well,
Why would you vote for Trump? Like, if it comes down to the Second Amendment, wouldn't you like be more of like a Chase Oliver kind of supporter than Donald Trump?
yeah, but he appointed Vivek Ramaswamy. He's extremely 2A. Vivek Ramaswamy. He believes people should be walking around with
Yeah,
foot
but
down
he
the
doesn't have a record, though.
Yeah.
Vivek doesn't have a record in politics to lean on as pro Second Amendment.
Yeah.
But, so he's a former CEO of a pharmaceutical company. He doesn't have anything to do with politics. He came out of nowhere. And the thing about Ramaswamy too is that he really had a different opinion before Trump. So like, I mean, before he started getting involved in politics about Trump. So yeah.
It just sucks, man. Listening to the NRA, and now I gotta worry about this dude.
What did the NRA say about it?
No, the NRA backs Trump, like they backed him, right? I usually look for who the NRA gives an A plus
So
rating.
let's see. Bondi opposed semi-automatic weapon ban.
No, if you
State law prohibits from openly carrying weapons. There's gun control measures passed in the wake of Parkland shooting. She defended the gun control measures passed after the Parkland shooting. And obviously, I think that's the law that the NRA challenged. Yeah.
So like she's the only attorney general of Florida to go against the Second Amendment, man. So it's quite frightening. And then I heard people bringing up, the argument you gave was Trump's the one who said take them without due process, and it's scary, man. So
Maureen, thank you so much, Maureen. Well, I tried to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? I mean, to be honest with you, like I believe in common sense gun control, but if you were a purist, an absolutist in regards to Second Amendment, then you shouldn't have voted for Trump. Trump doesn't care about the Constitution, period. He gives it no consideration whatsoever. So
yeah, man, and that's what I'm not just now seeing when I'm giving it thought, man, is he's not the absolutist that I thought he was. I thought he's like, why would he appoint somebody like this?
Well, then you didn't listen. I tried telling you.
Yeah, so all right, man. I'm gonna lay back down on it. I'm still a little down from it.
All right, well, go lay down. I told you guys, you're going to have slowly a separation of people who get that they made a mistake, and then people like MAGA enforcer that are just like, yeah, Trump. Like MAGA enforcer will literally be on fire and still support Trump. He could be on fire from a nuclear weapon and still be like, yeah, Trump is great. Like people like that, people with MAGA in their name, there's so many of them. MAGA Patriot, MAGA 1776, MAGA this, MAGA that. All of those types of people will always support Trump. Like they'll be on fire and they'll be like, 1776, go Trump. But then you'll have people that are just regular people who had a particular reason they supported Trump will come to the realization as this policy begins to get implemented that they were fooled. You know what I mean? Irish, what's up?
Hey, what's going on? I'm a friendly. Just want to make something real quick. Why is no one bringing up the fact that previously Trump said in order for this conflict to end, Ukraine would have to give up land to Russia? And secondly, why is no one even bringing up the fact that Russia launched...
Who the hell's no one? I bring that up all the time.
Well, I'm not saying you. In general, but like none of your guests have brought that up at all. You have, but your guests haven't. And also, why do they not even talk about the fact that Russia launched an ICBM, which is a nuke-capable weapon?
Yeah, it's a threat.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Like, no one wants to realize that stuff. That if this happens, it's
they
over
realize
quick.
It. They're falling for it. That's propaganda. That firing that weapon was propaganda. That's a threat. Like I always say, Vladimir Putin's greatest weapon is not even his nuclear deployment capabilities. It's the threat of his nuclear deployment capabilities, right? They have roughly the same amount as us, I believe. But the threat, preying on Western anxiety about nuclear deployment is one of his greatest weapons. Thanks for coming up. Appreciate it. It's the final countdown. I just don't understand the logic. You know what I mean? Following that line of logic. Justin.
Hey, what's up?
What's up? Who'd you vote for?
I voted for Trump.
Okay. Any thoughts on my background?
I mean, like, what do you want me to say about it?
It's an exercise, right? Whatever you feel about it. If you think it's true, if you don't, if you want to explore why.
So, yes. So I will say that on that day, there were people that were violent and
What day? It says you can't be a patriot and support Trump. What day are you talking about?
J6.
Okay.
Yeah, like because that's a photo of J6, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. But that's not what the topic's about. But you can certainly talk about that if you want.
Yeah, I mean, because like I'm just bringing it up based off of your photo, so that's why.
Yeah, it's more about the statement there. I mean, January 6th is obviously an example of why you can't be patriotic and support Trump. But yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, about J6 though, I mean, yeah, I will say there were people that were like violent, and those people that were violent, like they should be in jail. But like there was also people on that day that were also like peaceful, but they were also like falsely prosecuted, and they should be pardoned. So those people that were just
Like
peaceful.
who?
Huh?
Like who?
What do you mean who? I mean, I don't know. I mean, all I know is no.
Then how'd you just
Like there were people on. I'm sure there were people on that day that were like that were just falsely
So
prosecuted.
you're just assuming, you don't actually know though.
Hold on.
Like you want to Google a case you're referring to specifically?
Yeah, I got you.
Because you do know that the Capitol building wasn't open, right?
What do you mean they were like? What do you mean they were not open?
It was closed. You weren't allowed to be inside the Capitol building. So anyone who entered the Capitol building broke the law.
Yeah, but like at the same time, also police officers let them in. So
No, they didn't.
yes, they did.
No, they didn't. So
And not only that, freaking Trump offered the National Guard to Nancy Pelosi, and her daughter actually took full responsibility of January 6th.
that never happened.
Yes,
So-
Trump actually offered the National Guard to Pelosi, and she
can I just
declined it.
finish speaking, please? I can't believe
Yeah.
I'm actually debating this still. But who has the ultimate authority over the National Guard in Washington, D.C.?
I'm pretty sure it's the mayor.
Who's the mayor?
I don't know who the mayor of DC is,
The
dude.
mayor has the ultimate authority over the National Guard in Washington, D.C.? The mayor?
I mean, I don't know.
Who has the ultimate authority over the National Guard in Washington, D.C.?
Yeah.
Realizing
Hold up.
that Lop said everything to me. Who has the ultimate authority over the National Guard in Washington, D.C.?
Bro, you tell me.
Donald Trump.
Okay, and Donald Trump, he literally they took down his offer.
Donald Trump wanted the National Guard there, Justin. He could have had the National Guard there because Donald Trump determines if the National Guard is there. No one else. Donald Trump is in charge of the National Guard. If he wants the National Guard there, he can have the National Guard there. No one can tell him no. Okay. So the second statement you made is police let people in. That never happened, Justin. So this was a part of a Tucker Carlson piece where it showed it didn't properly display the timeline and showed police walking around with people like Jacob Chansley, commonly referred to as the QAnon shaman, indicating that police were letting people in. That's not what happened. And so let me just show you something really quick here, okay? To quickly debunk that.
Oh, by the way, just
Just wait.
no, I'm trying to explain.
Don't speak until we're doing one thing at a time. This conversation, believe me, I don't want to have to repeat myself on this topic. It's frustrating to me that I even have to explain this to you right now, that you're way behind.
Well, because you're wrong.
Okay, I'm wrong. I've only successfully debated this topic thousands of times, and every single person loses that debates it. And you will too, right? So this is how it goes, okay? So I'm going to play it for you. Here we go. I want you to look. What's happening? So that was an entry point. That was an entry point by the Columbus doors, right? Can you tell me, how can you let people in that are already inside? Many of those people he ran. So anyway, just to finish what I was saying, because that little guy ran, how can you let people in that are already inside? That was a entry point. And a couple of those people were Proud Boys. A few of those were Proud Boys. And that by the Columbus doors, broke in the window. How would you let people in that are already inside? No one was let inside, okay? It's absolutely fucking ridiculous to even claim that that's what happened. That's not what happened. What's up, Brett?
I caught in at the last little bit of that last dude, and I was just wanted to clarify. Like, it even says it in the Constitution that Trump is or was at the time the commander in chief of the Army, the Navy, and of the militia of the state and of the several states, which is our National Guard. Article 2, Section 2.
Scott, what's going on?
How you doing today, sir?
What's up? Are you a Trump supporter?
Hell no.
Okay, well, I'm looking for opposition today, but I'll give you 15 seconds or 30 seconds. Go ahead.
I'm probably the only person you've had who's actually worked in the Trump organization.
Oh, you work with the Trump. Oh, I talked to you before, right?
Yep, I worked in the casinos as an accountant and a dealer.
Yeah. What's up?
I mean, I'm just tired of
What
people
year did
supporting
you
this
work
idiot.
for him? What years did you work for him?
94 to the beginning of 97.
94 to the beginning of 97. Did you have interactions with him?
I only saw him in the casino once when Luciano Pavarotti came to sing. That was the only time he was in the casino.
Yeah. Well, go ahead.
I was to say, I think I'd mentioned to you how he tried to have an old woman thrown out of her house.
He tried to do what now?
He tried to have an old woman thrown out of her house using eminent domain laws in Atlantic City.
Mm-hmm.
Because her house was built back in the 1920s and it was really dilapidated. It was right next to the casino, only a block and a half off the boardwalk, but he wouldn't pay her a price for it. So he tried to get the Casino Control Commission in New Jersey to force her out of the house.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Thank you for coming up, Scott. Appreciate you. That does not surprise me whatsoever. Really does not surprise me at all. It's the final count. If you're trolling, dude, I'm just gonna kick you. Z Larson.
I'll tell you what, that USMC Angry Vet, he is a troll.
Yeah, he's a Mick Angry Muppet.
I'm a fucking menace, dude.
He's a Mick Angry Muppet. Some guy literally came in here and tried to debate January 6th. Wait a second, this is not. Guys, I'm looking for. Let's see this. So now the thing is, if you guys haven't seen yet, you will. These Trump supporters are trying to like blame Biden for starting World War III as Trump enters office. Can someone tell me the logic behind that fucking thing?
I thought Donald Trump said that one phone call after he got elected would end the war.
Within 24 hours, yep.
Isn't that what he said? That's
Yep.
weird.
He did say that, and of course that never happened because he's a liar.
Shocking.
But even more so, Joe Rogan, you know, I don't know if everyone heard, if you guys heard this yet. I played this morning. This is pretty annoying to me, but let me play it. This is Joe Rogan yesterday or the day before. The hell you turn the sound on this now?
We would like to avoid from a dying former president. The whole thing is nuts. I mean, look, I don't know. I feel safer knowing that Trump is in office. I do too. I feel great about it. Like what I don't feel safer is right now they're launching missiles into Russia. How are you allowed to do that when you're on the way out? Like, the people don't want you to be there anymore. There should be like some sort of like a pause for like significant actions that could potentially start World War III. Maybe that would be a good thing we would like to avoid from a dying former president. The whole thing is nuts. I mean, look, I don't know shit about politics. Zelensky says Putin is terrified. You, man. You people are about to start World War III. Yes.
Not the guy who invaded the fucking country? What a thing to say.
Russia fired a missile today. They fired an intercontinental ballistic missile for the first time ever. It's the first time one of those has ever been used. Daddy, because those intercontinental ballistic missiles can have nukes on them. This one didn't, but if it does, the whole world changes, and it changes because of the military-industrial complex, and it changes because the money that's going to Ukraine, and it changes because the outgoing president.
Like, who caused this war in Ukraine? Was it the military-industrial complex that made Russia invade? How is the blame getting all the way back to them?
U.S. allows Ukraine to use long-range missiles. So what did they say? Someone had said that, like, CNN was saying it was a good thing, which I think is how? How is the left gone so far crazy that they think it's a good thing to launch missiles? That's what's scary about life is like you don't want to pay attention to that shit.
How do you deal with dipshits that have ridiculous political takes, but when pushed on the retreat to the island?
Literally trying to frame it like Biden is escalating the war when Putin is literally the person who invaded, literally the person who, now has had North Korean troops sent to Russia. Like this is Putin's fault. This isn't the fault of Joe Biden.
Yep.
I mean, it's just weird.
At this point, they would blame all of Jim Jones's followers for the Kool-Aid instead of Jim Jones himself.
It's propaganda, and they fall for it. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
I literally cannot, I just can't stand Republicans. I was talking about this before, right? Russia sees how absolutely uneducated and gullible one side of the political spectrum is in the United States, and has targeted them through social media. Psychological warfare just feeds them nothing but propaganda, and they fucking take it hook, line, and sinker every single time. Russia is manipulating the shit out of the Republican Party, the voter base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep saying it. Congratulations to Russia on winning the Cold War. They played the long game, and they pulled it off.
Yeah, seriously.
Congratulations.
I don't know what to call you, but Base, what's going on?
Oh, dude, not much. I heard y'all playing my favorite gnome, big DGGer. So it's cool to see some actual centrist libs on the platform. It's shocking how bad most of the takes are on here.
Who did I play?
Destiny.
Oh yeah. I was just playing him because he was basically just responding to Rogan's idiotic comments. Why do you think they were idiotic?
Yeah, of course. Rogan's like an actual Russian psyop at this point.
Legitimately, really.
Or actually, I wouldn't argue that he's paid by Russia personally, but he's so close to that Trump derangement team. Yeah, I just he is absolutely compromised and is just doing Russian propaganda now.
Yeah, I mean, he gave this it wasn't that long ago. People were telling me well, he doesn't really support Trump, and I was like, what are you talking about? Of course he does.
Yeah,
He played so this awesome. This kind. He took there was a soft launch kind of he was just insinuating that Trump is better. That now he's just full blown Trump is better.
Yeah, I think especially with RFK folding in. I mean, I think the real realignment. Conservatives try to talk about this, but I don't think they get it right when they talk about the MAGA party or whatever. Is there has seemed to be a really interesting realignment where instead of just left versus right, there tends to be a very big establishment versus anti-establishment bend. And as someone that's actually super pro-establishment, loves our institutions and shit, it's really, really nerve-wracking to see that be the way the parties are aligned right now, seemingly. There's people that like rules and order, and then the ones that basically just want, I guess, a king.
Watch, let me give you an example of one right now. John, come here for a second. Sean, come here. I mean, this guy literally compliments. This guy actually fucking has fallen full-blown in love with Putin. It's really disturbing. Sean, is Putin a good leader?
I wouldn't call any leader a good leader.
See, he just does the same. So, is the United States responsible for escalating tensions?
Absolutely.
So they're not responding to an escalation, but they're escalating.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, when you sign ballistic missiles on live TV and advertise it so that another nuclear power can see it, it's pretty much, talking shit. It's pretty much saying, putting your chest out and being yo.
Who's responsible for aggressing upon Ukraine? Who's responsible for further aggressing upon
people
this?
Talk about them. I don't care about that. I care about
well, that's the most important part.
Yeah.
No, we need peace. That's the most important part. And when our government comes out, when there's going to be a peaceful transition, there's supposed to be, and 59 days before the transition, you say, okay, you can do long-range missile attacks into Kremlin.
Hey, Sean.
No, don't talk your liberal bullshit with me, dude.
I'm just gonna ask you.
It's not just Sean. Just relax, dude.
Jesus Christ, dude.
No, because you won't admit that it was wrong for Biden to come out and say.
I was just gonna ask you a question, Sean. Jesus fuck. Chill out, dude.
It's just annoying. You guys,
Christ on a cracker. You are worked up.
How are
You've been in here
conservatives?
for 14 seconds, Sean.
Sean, take a deep
Chill
breath.
out.
I want to know how conservatives are
Jesus
brainwashed
Christ,
by
Sean.
I want to know
actually-
how
Lay off
Sean,
Lay
hold
off
on
the
1 second.
amphetamines, Sean.
Sean, hold on 1 second and let him just ask you a question. Jesus.
Have you advocated for Putin to withdraw from Ukraine?
Absolutely.
When?
I that's my position on it. I think the war shouldn't be happening at all.
Bullshit.
Sure.
That's not Sean. Last time you were up here, we talked this. You didn't say you wanted to. You said, why should he?
No, I said that. Why shouldn't he have? What is the why?
So you were opposed to him aggressing upon Ukraine? That was your original stance?
He didn't break the Budapest memorandum by doing that.
How
He
did he
business
not
sense.
violate the Budapest memorandum by invading Ukraine?
It doesn't. It's not a violation if you
That's
read-
wrong. Yes, it is.
It
if you
literally
read the
says in the Budapest memorandum that Russia would not aggress against Ukraine.
No, with nuclear, with a threat of nuclear, with the threat of nuclear. The verbiage is
Great.
there.
And since he's invaded Ukraine, he has threatened to use nuclear weapons.
After they did the long-range missiles.
No, before that, you
Not true.
absolute toenail.
Yeah, he's been threatening nuclear deployment since the beginning of the war. Since
You're gonna have
before,
to-
since 2014,
Yeah.
since they annexed Crimea.
You're gonna have to pull up your source on that. I don't believe it.
What?
I know you don't believe
he's
it.
been threatening nuclear deployment this entire time. This is absurd.
Okay, I answered your question. I have a question.
What's the justification for further aggressing upon Ukraine? Like, what's the legitimate justification?
They shouldn't have fucked around with NATO.
And what's the formal treaty that says NATO can't move eastward?
Well,
What's the
okay,
treaty?
it's not in the memorandum, but it was
What's
a
the
hint,
formal
it was an
treaty?
agreement.
What's the
Everybody
formal
knows.
treaty? What's the formal treaty that states that Ukraine can't join NATO?
It's the annexation of.
No, there is no formal treaty.
No, there is no formal agreement saying that a nation cannot join NATO.
Okay, well, why won't they let Russia join NATO?
Because Russia has never formally requested to join NATO.
That's a lie.
Okay,
That's a straight up fucking lie. They've requested
Sure.
it numerous times in the 90s.
sure. Cool
They've been
story.
denied every
What's
time.
Sean?
Cool
What's
story,
the
Sean.
formal agreement that says Ukraine can't join NATO? I want to know
No,
the name.
you already asked that, dude. I don't know the answer to that, but I
There
haven't-
isn't one.
Okay, you
And
already said
Russia
that.
has not formally asked to join NATO.
Can I ask you a question? What you
Is
made
it going to be a
statement-
smart question?
you made it's something about a statement you made before I came up.
Oh, cool.
You guys made the statement that the Republicans are subject to misinformation and Russian disinformation. How are they manipulating the Republicans? Tell me, because you can't even
Easy.
you can't even watch
Easy.
any of
The Russian
news.
Kremlin was paying millions of dollars to right-wing YouTube pundits to spread information that they were providing.
Oh, like
Yeah,
the Hillary
to
Clinton
undermine
Foundation?
the relationship
Like
between
the
the
Hillary
United
Clinton
States and Ukraine.
Foundation? Like the Hillary
You
Clinton
wanted
Foundation?
to respond, Fox Rose, whatever. You need to change your name to something you can be, because it's hard to say. What are you based? Go ahead.
Base is fine. As far as misinformation goes, yeah, I think the example of Tenet Media is a perfect one. I mean, Tim Pool was getting like $40 million a year, some ludicrous amount of money.
He got a $1 million signing bonus, $1 million per month.
Yeah, Dave Rubin making like thousands of dollars on like 400 view videos. Like,
Yes.
yeah, that's like so direct.
Are they getting paid
Also,
directly from Russia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're-
it was
we're-
through a
we're gonna have
shell
to show
company.
receipts for that because
Yeah, it was through a shell company. But here's the thing, right? That's one example. Why? Because the right is just more, typically more vulnerable to misinformation because of lack of education.
so
They-
people getting paid by the Hillary Clinton Foundation isn't the same
Who?
fucking thing.
Who?
Who?
What? Who?
How about like Ethan Baum and Priscilla and
What?
those guys admit they
What
openly admit
the
it and still
fuck are
do.
you actually believe that?
Bro, why would
Oh my
somebody
God.
think
So
he's
let
honorable?
me explain
So
something to you. If you
interested in
actually
American
believe it,
politics.
if you think that the Hillary Clinton Foundation is paying people on social media, you're literally too deluded to even have a conversation with. But No, that's not actually happening. But there was an indictment to substantiate what we're saying right now about like Tim Pool and other political influencers being paid to undermine the relationship between the United States and Ukraine. Like we can substantiate it with a criminal indictment, right? So
basically, you're the one brainwashed. You can't even admit that they're laundering money through the fucking Ukraine war. All that money's coming right back to the fucking war machine. They send the
do
money.
you have proof of any of these things, or
back.
is this just your feelings?
No, this is happening.
It's 100% his feelings.
Show me. If you were to provide me evidence
money,
right
Adam.
now,
You're not dumb. Follow the money.
no, provide me evidence.
Sean's got big feelings about this.
Yeah, wait,
Oh,
Sean,
it's only
I got big
follow the money,
everything, bro. I got big everything.
Yeah, Sean, how should I follow the money? Just explain the process and where you get to with it.
Okay, well, first thing you do is you figure out all our tax dollars that are going over to Ukraine. What are they spending the money on? They're spending the money on war, or they're sending goods in favor of the money, in place of the money. So valued objects, like
Which
military,
stimulates American jobs and lets our military update our, weapons and gear and stuff.
Bro,
So
we are
it's a bit of a
so
bust.
in debt. It's not even funny. The fact that you can sit here with a straight face, this just tells me you have TDS. You have TDS so bad that you're
We
willing to
haven't
look
even
the other
brought
way.
up Trump.
This just tells me you have TDS. You have TDS so bad that you're
We
willing
haven't
to look
even
the other
brought
way.
up Trump in this. Like we're not even talking about Trump,
Bro,
dude.
Fuck.
Fuck.
I already know where you feel on this, Adam. I already know. You spent
Trump is totally incompetent.
like 3 years
He's-
on here just
he's
talking
incompetent.
about.
He's incompetent. He's not capable of
That's a-
successfully governing. He has no clue like what to do geopolitically. His domestic policies are an utter failure. I mean, he's a joke. I mean, literally, like
Don,
he's the worst person.
I gotta hand it to you. That was a masterful pivot away from the question.
Yeah,
That was-
you and your
that was
liberal
brilliant.
bullshit talking points.
That was.
Pivot on
I
this
can tell
dick,
you
bro.
exactly how to find the money. But oh my God, you guys are obsessed with Donald Trump. That was brilliant.
But
Way to
here's
go.
the thing, everybody. Listen, this is the most important part. Republicans were told that there was a formal treaty that prevented Ukraine from joining NATO, right? So they believe that there was a violation of a formal treaty justifying the war in Ukraine. They believe also, watch, Sean, is there bioweapons production in Ukraine? Biolabs that are producing
Bro,
bioweapons?
you have zero fucking evidence and proof that it was just research.
No, I absolutely do. 100%. The U.S.
Well,
Department
show
of
it.
Defense.
Put it on the fucking screen.
Do you
then.
consider
You
the
have a lot
Department of
shit to
Defense
say,
more
but
credible
you don't show
than
any fucking
Kremlin?
receipts. You're all talking points, bro. You act like you know what's going on in Russia, but nobody can know what's going on in Russia unless you're in Russia.
You're right, because we're talking about Ukraine, dipshit.
Bro, I understand who we're fucking talking about.
Then why are you talking about what's going on in Russia? We're talking
Because
about
the
Ukraine,
reason why
dipshit.
Russia went into Ukraine, you'll never fucking know the truth.
So is the Pentagon a more credible source than the Kremlin?
Hell no.
There you
Hell
go.
no.
No.
There you go.
There you go.
That's all you need to know. There has been. So here's the thing: we don't have to prove. Hold on, we don't have to prove. So first of all, like it's for studying like pathogens, and it's actually been debunked multiple times. But if you're making the claim that there's bioweapons production, you then have the burden of proof and have to prove that there's bioweapons production. Do you have any evidence?
I just got done saying that I have no idea what's going on over there.
Right.
Zero.
You have no idea what's going on over there. And because of that, you can say maybe they are doing this. I don't know. I'm just
You
asking
don't know
questions.
what's going on over there either.
That's a really juvenile way to go about geopolitical situations.
You're
Is, well, I
guessing.
don't know
You're
what's
guessing
going
based
on
off
over
of
there
your
really.
politics.
You don't know what's going on over there really. So all I'm doing is asking questions. Maybe they are decapitating pigeons and turning them into drones. I don't know. You don't know that either.
But we do know that the Pentagon confirmed that these were for public health and disease, these labs, and they weren't for bioweapons production. And I believe the Pentagon over the Kremlin. So, like, I'm not going to dispute that the United States is lying and that there is bioweapons production, especially considering Russia has not proven Like they've given no evidence that there was bioweapons production, just like they've given no evidence that the country needed denazification, that Nazis had infiltrated their government with a Jewish president who was democratically elected and received over 73% of the vote. Everything Russia has said is propaganda. You guys fall for it every time. There's a reason they target the right. It's not a coincidence. They target the right for a very
targeting the right.
They
just like the
absolutely
same
are.
reason Donald Trump targeted the right. Easier to fool, easier to
They
manipulate.
absolutely are. You know what I do know, Sean?
Bad man.
Do you want to know what I do know?
Man, then we're big bad man too.
Here's
Because
what I
we
do
went
know,
into-
Sean.
We went into the Middle East
Sean,
under the premise and went after
Sean,
Saddam Hussein
Sean,
under the premise
Sean,
of weapons of
Sean,
mass destruction.
Sean.
And there wasn't
Sean,
there. We went there for the oil.
Sean.
So our fucking government's
Did you
dirty
hear
as fuck.
that, Matt? He's pivoting to Iraq.
I know.
No, but
I know. I'm going to
making a
bring it back
fucking
around.
point.
Hey, Sean.
You're going to take the word
Sean.
of people who lied to us before.
Sean, stop.
Do you know what I do know? I do know that Russia violated the sanctity of Ukrainian sovereignty when they invaded their country.
Okay. I don't consider it an invasion. You know what I do consider an invasion? The southern border.
Wow.
The southern border. That's an
What?
invasion.
There it is. Pivot away,
Wait,
Sean.
that's perfect, though.
Pivot
Did you-
away.
Did you hear what he
Pivot
just
away.
said? He
You're gonna say
doesn't
they're
consider
not armed.
invading. So wait, Sean, right? You considered the southern border an invasion. Can you tell me what geopolitical entity is invading at the southern border? Because an invasion would be done
Bro,
by
there's too many to fucking
an
name,
invasion.
dude.
Hold on.
China? China?
Hold on. China. So China's invading the United States at the southern
Oh
border.
yeah. Oh yeah, they're crossing illegally. Military
Wow.
age
Can you
men.
provide evidence of that, please?
You can just fucking watch it on the fucking left-wing news too.
So he doesn't know what geopolitical entity. That
I
would be a
just
military
named one.
operation if it was
China.
actually an
Yeah,
invasion, but
China.
doesn't believe the invasion of a sovereign nation is an invasion. Just the
John knows that China is invading the United States through the southern border, but the Pentagon doesn't.
Right, exactly.
Oh, exactly. That's what you're right. They're acting like there's not an invasion.
But there
That's
isn't.
why you need to be
Because
questioning
there
what the fuck-
isn't.
Oh, there isn't. Okay.
There's not
All
an
right.
invasion by any kind of, like, you're saying China for the doing what? For the purpose of what?
What do you mean for the purpose of what? They're buying up all our land. They're doing everything they can to step on our neck.
Yeah, this is not real. It's just not. It's just not. So they're waiting for Donald Trump to get in office, who's going to conduct the largest deportation operation in American history in order to execute this plan, not while it's under the administration you claim is gullible and not paying attention and weak and like they're going to do it under the administration that's going to go after them, not under the administration you claim is weak. That makes sense also. How much longer are they going to wait? They got what, a couple months left?
They're probably going to either wait or they're going to do it beforehand and make sure that Trump doesn't get in office, because there are certain situations where the transfer of power won't happen if we're on
Here
the
it
side.
You
comes.
want to know something so adorable? This Republican in chat, Snowbird, wrote, "Wrong, Adam, you are lose." Since we always call out, they don't understand using contractions like you are apostrophe. So she wrote, "Wrong, Adam, you are lose." Oh, that's adorable. Back to bed.
Man,
Sean,
dude.
listen. Sean, how do you think the soldiers who stormed the beaches of Normandy for the purpose of liberating Europe would feel about people like you who are bootlicking for a murderous authoritarian dictator who has committed multiple war crimes in Ukraine, unaliving civilians, execution style, hands tied behind their back, blindfolded, essaying children, essaying women, committing ethnic cleansing, conspired with Bashar al-Assad to drop chemical weapons on children in Syria, unalives members of the media, unalives political opposition in Navalny, people like that. You're up here defending that individual. How do you think the soldiers who stormed the beaches of Normandy to liberate Europe from fascism would feel about people like you?
Well, I would say that they would be more on my side because they could see through the mist.
You are out of your fucking mind, Sean.
I got a question.
You're
for
getting
Sean.
all your information from your fucking from the people that we're paying. You
This
think
is what they think. They
You
fall
think
for
that
this
they're gonna
idea
be
that
like, oh,
we
yeah.
all sit down on, because this is what they do, right?
You
They
didn't
get
really
their
do
marching
anything
orders.
wrong. No,
They
they're
get their
gonna-
marching orders from Fox News. So they think
I
that
don't
we
watch
all sit in front of.
Fox,
They think we
We're
all sit in
talking
front of
about that.
MSNBC and wait for our marching orders like they do. We
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just believe whatever your fucking left wing media tells you.
Okay, which part? Give me an
Literally,
example specific.
everything you're saying, they talk about on like
We're using government sources. Like, yes, we believe the Pentagon over the Kremlin, Sean. Yes.
Yeah, the Pentagon's shaking in their fucking boots right now because half of them are about to get fucking fired because they're dirty as shit.
And that's something to brag about too. Purging the fucking military. That's something to brag about.
Yeah, absolutely. They did the same thing with Trump's.
They did the same thing during the Third Reich, and yeah, we have a million historical references as to when that happens.
You
It's
said-
typically bad.
You said the Biden administration purged the military of Trump. What?
All of Trump's appointees, all of his executive orders, everything they purged.
Wait a minute. His appointees? Yeah.
I'm talking about like his.
So
the
by
general-
that
general
definition, hold on. By that definition, Donald
million
Trump purged the government of all of Barack Obama's appointees also.
Okay, so that's the fucking cycle here.
Appointees are not generals in the military, you donut.
Okay, what happened to General Flynn?
General Flynn was found guilty of colluding with Russia.
Okay, by who?
In a court of law by a jury of his peers.
Under what administration?
Whoever just sent those subs, thank you. I appreciate you. I didn't see that. General Flynn.
Now you got some fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs doesn't know what
Christ.
fucking gender they are.
No, the General Flynn comment was wild.
Jesus Christ, dude.
I don't know if
you
that's
are.
a dude or a fucking girl. I don't know
Sean.
what the fuck she is.
Sean, let me ask you a question. The tinfoil that you make your hat out of, is that like Dollar Tree or Target tinfoil?
What the fuck are you talking about, dude?
Man, it's next level indoctrination. But I talk to these
you're
people all the
indoctrinated,
time.
bro. You're indoctrinated.
He pivoted away from the question though about
You're the one
explaining like
indoctrinated,
the
bro.
following the
Everybody-
money.
So you think that more people are dumb than in America? They voted for Donald Trump and outpouring
Yes.
numbers. You think that
Yes.
they're dumber?
The average
than
American
you?
is economically illiterate and can't handle like an inflationary environment.
What year did you graduate?
What?
What year did you graduate? Are you a Gen X, Gen Z?
I'm
does that
Gen Z,
matter?
but like which graduation are you
Yeah,
asking
because you know
for?
what? You've been indoctrinated by the school system. That's why we're getting rid of it.
Coke and seed, my friend.
Oh
Hey, do you have
God,
kids?
this is just too rich.
Sean, do you have
Listen,
kids?
It's all going to be fixed, and it's all right. If you need to go to a retrainment camp or something, we'll put you there. It's okay.
No, Sean, do you have kids?
I have 2 kids.
Can they talk to you?
I have an 18-year-old daughter graduating high school this year. I talk to her every day, and I have a 9-year-old son.
All right. Yeah, good luck with the daughter.
She's a cheerleader. She used to be a liberal, and then I showed her the truth. And
Oh, she's dumb. I'm sorry.
No, she's not. She realizes that the teachers are there. There's a mission here in these school systems. If you're going to take over a country, the first thing you go after is the education. Then you go after the medical. Then you go after. If you can't do it,
Whoa, he's so close. He's so fucking close. He's so close.
No, he's okay with Trump doing it. He knows that's what Trump's goal is. He just likes that Trump's doing it. There are no
He
bad
doesn't
news, only bad
understand it.
targets.
He doesn't
no,
understand.
they've already done it.
He doesn't
They did it
understand.
in-
He doesn't get
Obama
it.
started this whole fucking thing.
Obama.
Obama's still pulling the strings everywhere.
Oh my God,
I'm
Sean.
gonna ask again about the tinfoil hat, my guy.
Sean, you notice throughout the course of this conversation, Sean hasn't provided a single source.
I
Hasn't
don't need
referenced
fucking
a single
My
source of
is my light
information.
and my eyes and my brain, which you're not using.
Your eyes. Okay.
You trust the government way too much.
No, Sean, I have evidence of everything that I've said so far.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
telling you, I have a friend that is retired CIA that I talk to almost every week that comes over with and sits with my father-in-law, and he knows exactly what the fuck's going on, and we talk about it all the fucking time.
100%. This friend is lying to him. 100%. This friend was never in the CIA.
It's like MK Ultra victim.
Yeah, this never happened. This guy, it's either never happened or this friend was never in the CIA and he is pulling your leg, dude.
Okay.
So your friend comes over at night and tells you about what
I can't tell you
CIA.
my source because
So he tells you about
I don't
classified
wanna get him in
information,
trouble.
and you're up here revealing it to 2,300 people.
Listen, I'm just wearing a tinfoil hat, bro.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, that's how I know it's not true. Guys, we have a subwave going on. I appreciate completing the subwave. Tap the screen, share the live. If you guys would like to contribute, you can on Venmo. Venmo's Adam Cray Politics. Sean, listen, you're completely indoctrinated, man. I don't think you can be saved.
You are. You're the
I don't think you can be saved. Sean, here's the thing. I don't have to convince you anymore, right? Like,
All right.
my goal originally before the election, my goal originally before the election was, of course, to attempt to convince you, Imran. So my goal originally, of course, is to attempt to convince you, right? To convince you to not vote for Donald Trump. But now we're at the point where you're in your find out era, right? So now the harmful policy gets implemented and then you suffer the consequences. And then maybe you see, maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm sure deep down you will. Everyone's going to feel this administration. And whether you admit it, it's going to be about whether you admit it or not, truthfully. You know, that's the shining light here. Trump is going to absolutely decimate the Republican Party. Aaron, thank you for the 10 gift. That I appreciate it. Unfortunately, many people are going to be hurt in the process, but I don't think Donald Trump, I appreciate it. Unfortunately, many people are going to be hurt in the process, but I don't think Donald Trump cares at all about the long-term health of the Republican Party. So, Base, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate you.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, man. Take care.
You too.
If you're looking for one, you know, if you're looking for a, you know, a little bit of a silver lining, basically, you know.
Hey, Adam, I know the guy that he's talking about, and that guy didn't say that.
Wait, what?
I said I know the guy that Sean was talking about, and he didn't say that.
He's talking about someone in his personal life, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing, right? Is like everybody can say, "Oh, I have a friend that comes over that works for the CIA." Yeah, I knew Buzz Aldrin too.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's Tony. What's going on?
Hey, how's it going?
Tony, who'd you vote for?
Trump.
Tony, what do you think about my background?
Yeah, I'm not in favor of all that.
Okay.
I don't know that really happened. I want to make a couple of comments on the Ukraine conversation.
Mm-hmm.
There's two things going to play. Of course, there's the Budapest Memorandum, which Russia clearly violated. There was also an agreement back in 1991, I think, with Mikhail Gorbachev, in which James Baker promised not to expand eastward, NATO eastward, for the reunification. Yeah, that's true.
It's not a formal agreement.
Not a formal agreement, no.
Right. So
but
it was
kind of like talking, okay, reunified Germany.
I want to say that this has been debunked also, but
it has.
Yeah. Am I right on that, Matt?
You're absolutely right. There was never any gentleman's agreement. There was never anything about that. NATO has a whole thing put out debunking this whole thing with receipts all the way back to the end of the Soviet Union. So
there was somebody there that said this never happened too, right?
Yes.
There's someone
And this whole idea that NATO agreed to never expand Russia. NATO is not an expansionist alliance. It's a defensive alliance.
Right.
People of their own volition and accord request to join NATO.
Right.
That's how it works.
There was an agreement, but
there wasn't.
No.
Okay, well, let's say there wasn't.
It's not a formal agreement.
We're not deliberately expanding eastward. We're just allowing countries to come in.
But NATO's founding treaty allows for any European state to apply for membership. That's how they operate.
Exactly.
Right. So what's the problem?
So who the fuck cares joins then?
Now here's my
wait, and hold on. The second question is, why would you does Russia have veto power
over NATO?
Yeah.
No.
Then what? There's no justification. What you're doing is trying to insinuate there's justification for further aggressing upon.
No. I'm pointing out that in my opinion there was one, but that I could be wrong.
Right. But that's your opinion, where you've done absolutely no research into it. You've taken a talking point that has been fed to you by the Kremlin, and you've just ran with it
That there
without
was
doing
like
any kind of
informal
research or
assurances
investigation
made, right?
into it.
So they're basically saying that there was a meeting and there was like informal assurances made.
Right.
I'm 90%
But there
sure.
wasn't.
I don't have it in front of me, but
No,
that
that's
somebody
okay.
was there and said
I'll-
that never happened.
I take your word for it. And, but, you know, I've read about it in a number of places. But
See
that's
how he's
okay.
trying to get the last word on that? No.
Yeah, I know. I've read about it, and I'll take your word on it. But I've read about it in a lot of other places.
No, and
They're
that's
not
why I brought
taking
it
our
up.
word for it.
But I am
And I'm
taking your
not
word
telling
for
you
it.
to take our word for it. I'm telling you to go and look into it, because what you're doing is taking somebody else's word for it and being like, well, this is what I read, so this is what I'm going to believe.
Yeah.
But you're not doing any kind of, and this is why
I'll check
Russian
it out.
propaganda has permeated into the right-wing sphere of everything, because the Kremlin and the right-wing pundits know that they can just, with authority, say something to you and you're just going to accept it.
Exactly. And regardless, if it wasn't formalized in a binding document, it wouldn't matter. So
Right.
like this is Russia's attempt to make it seem like there's an agreement without a binding document. And that's called propaganda, Tony. And you're
Okay.
literally
And now,
the more
let
you
me-
insinuate that it might be true, even though there's eyewitness testimony saying this never happened, there was no informal assurance made that they wouldn't move eastward, is dangerous, is the point we're trying to make.
Sure. Okay, I get that. Now, let's fast forward to where we are. This war's been going on for what, almost 3 years, just past the 1,000-day mark. And Russia did invade Ukraine. They were
Aaron, thank you so
unauthorized-
much, Aaron.
They were unauthorized to do so. And now Biden has done a reverse and allowed the long-range missiles to be fired inside of of Russia. And
Little slip up there.
yeah, almost.
Freudian slip.
Yeah, no, I don't want the Soviet Union back.
Yeah, you do.
But you saw Putin's response, didn't you?
Yeah, and that's propaganda also. That's
The same
all
thing that he
conspiracy.
said throughout the entirety of this war.
Right. Threatening nuclear deployment, which
Yeah.
is literally Vladimir Putin's greatest weapon, which is preying on Western anxiety about nuclear deployment
Okay, and how did Russia respond?
by firing a missile.
What kind of missile?
A missile capable of nuclear deployment with no
Yes.
nuclear.
With
capability.
what, 7 warheads on it?
Yes. So again, propaganda. So people like you sit up here and go, "Hey, look, guys, the West better back off. You better leave. You better allow Russia stop funding."
Are you saying that didn't happen?
No. What I'm saying is it's to prey on Western anxiety about nuclear deployment.
Right. So, Tony, let me ask you a question. So,
Sure.
because Russia has nuclear capabilities, we should just let them do whatever the fuck they want then.
No. And
Okay, so where's the line?
That's what he's saying, though. He's saying that they are threatening nuclear deployment as a result of authorizing these long-range missile strikes,
Right.
and therefore we should turn on our own government because
Right.
they are trying to start a war. That's what you're saying. I mean,
So,
I'm just
so
saying,
what's the line?
we
Where's
pulled
the
the
line,
trigger.
Tony? At what point do we say we just got to let Russia do whatever it wants to do?
Well, I would say no point.
because
Okay, so then why?
saying,
So then why are you up here talking about Biden signing off, saying that they can use
just
long
relax
range
and let me
to
talk
Russia?
a little bit, and maybe you'll see where I'm going. We fired the long-range missile. We got the response. So that's not good.
Has Russia been firing long range missiles into Ukraine the whole time?
Not like that one.
Have they been firing long range missiles into Ukraine the whole time?
I would say yes.
Okay. Were you concerned about an escalation in response when Russia was doing it?
I'm concerned about the whole thing.
Well, no.
What I'd like to
my
ask
my
you, 'cause
specific
you guys
question,
are-
Tony.
I mean,
hold on.
you're- well, let me
hold on,
just finish.
Tony.
No, I'm
my
not gonna let you
specific
talk over me.
question, Tony,
No, you're not
is:
gonna
were
talk
you
over me.
this
I'm gonna make this
concerned
point.
about an escalation in response when Russia was launching long-range missiles into Ukraine?
Okay. Can I get to a point?
You know, because what you're doing is
You
Tony,
can't.
the problem
You don't know what
is-
I'm doing because you won't shut
Tony,
up.
we
Yes,
know what
we
you're
do.
doing.
No, no, you do not know.
Yes, we
you
do,
are.
Tony.
I
You're
want to
trying to-
ask you a question.
Okay, what's the question?
Okay. My question is this. How do you see this conflict being resolved?
Russia withdrawing all forces and troops out of Ukraine and ceding control of the territory back to the Ukrainian people.
That's our desired outcome.
That's
Under
the
Trump,
desired outcome. I would.
yeah.
That
Under
would be,
Trump,
that
Donald
would
Trump,
be,
God knows. I think it could result in surrendering territory, making this adversary more powerful and more likely to attack a NATO ally. And Poland
Yes.
triggered Article 5.
and my desired outcome aligns with yours. You know, the best thing can happen is Russia.
So then why are you like what you're falling for the propaganda? That's the point that we're trying to make here. And it's dangerous when you come up with this perpetuating this fear mongering, like, wow, they've always had nuclear. He's been threatening nuclear deployment forever.
Yeah, he saber rattles.
Huh?
He saber rattles all the time.
Yeah, but that's the point.
Yes.
And then people
But
like
now-
you, Tony, come up and be like, well, we gotta back off because he's got those nukes.
And what does that do? Ultimately, that undermines the relationship between the United States and Ukraine, because now you have voters, right, believing that people like Biden are escalating tensions. Are you as upset that North Korean troops were sent to Russia? Like, are you as upset about that escalation? Or are you only upset that Russia is now once again reminding the
Worries
West
me that
they
30,000
have nuclear
troops are there.
deployment? Everyone shivers at the thought of nuclear deployment. That's the point, though, right? That's the point. But that doesn't mean that you can just strategically, you can just say, well, we're going to allow them to do what they need to do that to win this war.
And your desired outcome aligns perfect with mine. I'd love Russia just to stop.
But the problem is if you don't.
But it's not going to happen.
But if you don't take, it is though. You don't take this approach. If you don't take this approach, we're more likely to go to war with Russia. That's
Right.
the whole point. So,
Here's the
strategically, yeah, we're more likely to go to war with Russia if Russia is successful in this invasion. Agree? Disagree?
I disagree with that.
See,
Tony,
that's the-
let me ask you a
that's the
question.
issue right there, though.
We didn't hold this hard line in the sand in 2014 when Russia annexed Crimea, right?
No.
Because we were like, well, if we just let Russia have a little bit of this and then they stop there, then they won't go any further, right?
Right.
What happened?
They went further.
So what happens when we cede land that is Ukrainian territory to Russia this time and say, all right, we're going to give you a little bit more, but you got to promise that you're not going to go any further? What do you think's going to happen?
Well, I think the conflict's going to end.
Really? Why didn't it end in 2014?
I don't think Russia.
And I mean, we can talk about historical references, right? Europe's initial tolerance of Germany's expansion. Did it stop them? We let them take territory. We let them invade countries. Did they stop? No, they invaded more countries. They eventually invaded Russia, right? So like, let's think about it here. You're tolerating their expansion. We have a million historical references as to why this is a bad idea.
Well, what I'm trying to do is have a conversation, not be confrontational.
No, what you're trying to do is spread Russian propaganda and make it seem reasonable.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
I'm trying to figure
that is
out how
exactly
this
what you're
thing-
trying to do, Tony.
In pretending as if you're a concerned American citizen,
Right.
worried about nuclear deployment capabilities, when truthfully, you're just trying to blame the Biden administration for escalating tensions using Russian propaganda.
I'm
That's what you're doing,
with
Tony.
a lot of Ukrainians losing their lives.
Okay, so Tony, why are you not advocating that Vladimir Putin withdraw troops immediately? Why are you just saying, well, that's
I'd
never
love
going
to.
happen?
I
But
would
the United States must
No,
concede.
we're not
Tony,
saying advocate
Tony,
that.
if we
But I'm
surrender
also-
territory, Tony, if we surrender territory and there's an agreement made,
Hard to
right?
talk to.
What stops Vladimir Putin from further aggressing upon Ukraine after the Trump administration? Let's pretend for a second they surrender territory. Russia then in turn becomes more powerful. right? They have a strategic advantage, a resource advantage. They're more powerful than they were before the invasion. Then let's say he doesn't further aggress under the Trump administration. What do you think the likelihood is that he does after the Trump administration? What does this mean for the long-term health of the United States? Are you giving consideration for the long-term health of the United States in this decision to not surrender territory?
Well, I know I have not looked down the road.
Exactly.
Like that.
So that's the problem here. Is this isn't about the next year. This isn't about the next 2 years or 3 years. This is about the long-term health of the United States, depending on the long-term health of NATO, and the long-term health of NATO depends on the sovereignty of Ukraine. Period.
Okay, you and I both are in agreement that the best end game would be Russia to leave Ukraine.
Then why aren't you out here advocating for that?
Because it's not going to happen.
Why?
I'm a realist.
But what you are is a person that is easily manipulatable by Russian propaganda, thereby sowing division within the strongest ally that Ukraine has to protecting its sovereignty.
Hold on real quick. Ray, thank you so much, Ray. I appreciate you, Ray. Thank you for the Venmo, Ray. Yeah, this
what
is
I'm
exactly
saying is, how do we bring this conflict to an end?
We
both agree the best way would be
continue
Russia
to allow
leave.
Ukraine to have the capabilities.
But they're not going to leave.
Okay, so
You
I don't know if
continue
you
to
know
allow
this.
Ukraine to defend itself. Let me ask you this question,
They can't
Tony.
go forever either, by the way.
Let me ask you this question, Tony. If somebody was invading the United States of America, they were able to do it somehow. Let's just hypothetical this shit. All right. Would you agree to just ceding territory of the United States over to a foreign adversary
Yeah, I get
because
your
somebody
point.
didn't want to send you aid anymore?
Yeah, I get your point. I mean, it's apples and oranges, but
It's
I
really
get
not.
Your point.
You're asking the Ukrainian people to surrender their homeland to Russia, but you're not willing to do the same thing with the United States territory.
Okay. So I'm trying to look for an end to the war. You feel
Can we
like
also just add that you're acting like Russia is this like unbeatable force? Russia has already showed significant depletion, like their resources are depleted, armored vehicles specifically, using
I hope
armored
you're right.
vehicles. So Russia has shown signs of weakness already. Why do you think North Korean troops?
and it's kind of like the same movie we saw in Afghanistan, but how long were they in there? 10, 15 years?
That's a different circumstance, though.
I know, but I mean, it's similar in pulling out.
No, I don't think it is. I think it's a little bit different.
Literally not.
Yeah.
Okay.
Russia. I don't know how long the Russian people are going to put up with people dying and continue forward down this path before there's some kind of, like, my thought process would be at some point there would be a coup, right? Because how long are you going to tolerate Vladimir Putin's determination to recreate the Soviet Empire by absolving?
I thought so too, but they seem to be all in
absorbing
on
Ukraine.
this.
I don't think you can do this forever, right? So I think, of course, it's always changing, but that you need to at least, for now, continue to assist Ukraine in defending their sovereignty. It's that important, right? It's that important.
Just keep going on and on.
Well, see, part of the problem is the reason that I don't have I don't think that you're in good faith, Tony, is because the original point you made about
I'm in the best faith that you can
the
imagine.
original point you made about an informal assurance that there would be no eastward expansion indicates to me that you're not in good faith. Right. Like
I just mentioned that because I thought it had a bearing.
No, because what you were doing was justifying further aggressing. Right, you were trying to say that there was justification because NATO was moving eastward when there was an informal assurance made
I think
that
you're
they would
reading-
move eastward.
reading
Yeah, but
something
but
into
again,
my
that's
comment
that's
that wasn't-
problematic, right? That's why I don't feel you're in good faith
Okay.
because I don't believe that you believe that Russia is fully at fault here. I think you think NATO.
Oh, they're
is
100% at fault.
Okay, so NATO bears no responsibility.
No.
Okay.
No,
Little
Russia
delay
bears-
in the answer there.
Why
Russia
are
bears
you
full
not
responsibility.
why are you not out there saying that as long as the Ukrainian people are willing to defend their homeland, we will continue to support them?
If I don't know if it would end like that, but that would be great.
That's not nobody knows how it's going to end, Tony.
No,
My
I
question to
understand.
you
That's
is,
why I ask you that.
why are you not out here advocating? If you're so convinced that Russia is not the good guy, then why are you not out here advocating that as long as the Ukrainian people are willing to defend their homeland, we will continue to support them?
It's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
But that's the point is Donald Trump is not talking about the war this way, right? His refusal to admit that he wants Ukraine to win the war. In fact, Donald Trump's not even condemned the annexation of Crimea in 2014. Donald Trump
Neither
does not
did Obama
condemn.
when it happened.
Why won't Donald Trump condemn Vladimir
Obama
Putin?
did nothing, remember?
Excuse me, but
No,
he
Obama
condemned
did
it.
something.
He
And
did
he
nothing.
And he
He
did
did
condemn
something.
the annexation of Crimea.
What did he do?
Why has Donald Trump stopped pivoting, Tony? Why is Obama's not running for president? Obama's never going to be president again. It's irrelevant. So the point is this, Tony, why has Donald Trump refused to condemn Vladimir Putin's actions? Do you think that when you say, when is Russia going to stop, do you think that it in any way emboldens Vladimir Putin to continue aggressing upon Ukraine? Donald Trump, now President-elect Donald Trump's unwillingness to condemn him? No matter what it is, whether it's interfering in our elections, whether it's bombing Ukrainian naval vessels in the Azov, whether it's the annexation of Crimea, no matter what it is, Donald Trump's unwillingness to condemn Vladimir Putin. Have you ever given consideration to the fact that the person that you voted for is further emboldening this murderous authoritarian dictator by refusing to condemn his actions?
I think he sees that Russia won't stop.
So do we have historical references that, refusing to condemn the actions of authoritarian dictators is not a good idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the United States did the same thing, right?
Yeah, World War
What
II.
did that result in? World War II.
Right.
Yeah, isolationism doesn't work, right? Refusing to get involved and refusing to condemn and refusing to attempt to minimize their aggression is not a successful strategy. It has not worked historically, and it will not work here. It will result in a new Soviet empire, which is bad for the United States. As we know, as we see, Vladimir Putin has no problem threatening the United States with nuclear deployment. You're on the wrong side, my friend.
Okay. And if I had a do-over, I would not bring up any agreement. I did think there was an agreement, but I'm not trying to justify anything. Russia's 100% wrong. I'd like to see an end to it. And
why?
I really wanted to come up to ask what your thoughts were on how it would end.
I don't think that you can answer that question in good faith. What I think, if I had to take a guess, I think if we were to take the strategy of continuing to assist Ukraine the way we are now, I think that Russia would eventually have to stop. I think you would maybe see a coup. I don't know how exactly it would work out. But continuing to deplete the resources of an adversary is not a bad strategy, right? I just know the strategy we can't do, which is making them more powerful by surrendering any territory to them and emboldening them to further aggress in the future on NATO allied countries like Poland. You're not necessarily going to get a definitive answer. Like, yes, this is going to happen if we do this. We just know that this is the best.
No, but you're an intelligent guy in your military.
I just told you, I think that there would potentially be. I don't know that people would stand for this forever. I mean, people are dying. Morale is low. They've shown signs of depleted resources. I can't tell you, though, specifically how it's going to end. I just think this is the best course of action you can. By the way, let me just also state, which was not stated during the course of this conversation, do you know who's paying very close attention right now to how we support Ukraine? China.
China.
Yeah. So in regards to Taiwan, right? So the world is watching this. Other murderous authoritarian dictators are watching this right now and seeing how we respond to this. I don't think it's a good idea to set the precedent that we reward territory to these authoritarians.
And when Ukraine, we allowed
decide to
Ukraine to
invade
fire deep
sovereign nations.
And when we allowed Ukraine to fire deep into Russia, and they responded, Xi came out and said,
Russia invaded Ukraine.
I know, but I said Xi came out and turned the temperature down, asked to turn the temperature down. He doesn't want this either.
Who?
Nobody wants nuclear war.
No.
Nobody wants it.
Do you know
Vladimir
Putin once
Putin
said,
is going to beat his chest and shake his swords and all that shit. every single time he starts feeling the pressure, like he is losing control of the situation.
And Putin doesn't want nuclear war either.
Yeah,
and
but-
I'll tell you why. He once made a statement that the biggest deterrent to World War III has been the advent of nuclear weapons because there's no winner.
Yeah, Tony, he also made the statement that the collapse of the Soviet Union was the greatest geopolitical catastrophe.
Oh, yeah. He hated that.
Tony, greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the century. Would you consider the Holocaust a greater geopolitical catastrophe than the collapse of the Soviet Union?
100%.
Okay. So do you think that's a ridiculous statement?
I think in his eyes, he sees it because he saw Russia shrink down to really.
No. But I'm asking you: is that an absurd statement to make?
that's
the collapse of the Soviet Union was the greatest geopolitical catastrophe of the century.
Yes.
Okay. So that kind of shows you Vladimir Putin is not a rational person. He unalives political opponents, Navalny, others. He unalives members of the media. You speak out against him, he pushes you out a window. He conspired with Bashar al-Assad to drop chemical weapons on children. So he's an unhinged, murderous dictator. I don't think that he is a rational man, okay? I think power is very important to him.
And I think his ultimate fantasy is a reconstitution of the Soviet Union, which won't happen. But I mainly wanted your opinion on how you think would be the best way to proceed.
Yeah, I think
I'll tell you exactly how I think the best way to proceed is. As long as the Ukrainian people have the will and desire to defend their homeland, we continue to support them.
Yeah, I would agree with that strategy.
And you see Trump as brokering a deal where they cede land.
I see Trump as brokering a deal that is going to be beneficial to Vladimir Putin.
Right. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I think that's the most likely.
Land. Yes.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think Donald Trump understands geopolitics. I don't think Donald Trump understands, but I also don't think Donald Trump cares about the long-term health of the United States. I think he thinks about it in a 4-year window. As long as within this 4 years this doesn't happen, then that's all. I don't think Donald Trump cares if there's nuclear warfare 10, 12 years from now. He cares about within a 4-year. I really, truly believe Donald Trump does not care about the long-term health of the United States. So, and I think that's part of the problem. Just like he doesn't care about the long-term health of the Republican Party, Trump cares about Trump. Within my 4 years, can I stop this war from happening? Well, I can by surrendering territory. But what does that mean long-term for the health of NATO and the health of the United States? It's not anything good, ladies and gentlemen. It maybe doesn't mean nuclear war under Donald Trump, but it could mean World War III under another administration. Unfortunately, that's why it's important that we minimize their aggression. We don't want to make them any more powerful than they already are. And they're proving the point by constantly threatening nuclear deployment. So the answers are there. But if you listen to Russian propaganda, then you fall for it.
Well, and he's been, saber rattling for years. And I think.
But that's the point, Tony.
I think he's people have kind of tuned that out.
No, they haven't, because you're up here making the point that we need to de-escalate it because he's saber rattling.
I'm up here asking you, how do you think it will end?
No.
And you're angry.
That's what you're asking now.
Your moniker
that's what you're asking now,
your
Tony.
moniker is accurate.
Tony, that's what you're asking now.
I mean,
that's what you're asking now.
I don't even.
But 10 minutes ago, Tony, 10 minutes ago, you were saying, well, we launched deep long-range missiles into Russia, and they sent this back. This isn't good. We need to come up with something. You're feeding into the propaganda that is being sent forth from Russia to the United States for this purpose.
For this purpose. And you insinuated that when I made a statement about there being no formal treaty, that there was a formal treaty, which is concerning.
Yeah, and I was wrong on that.
Or an informal assurance, not a formal treaty. But regardless, it doesn't matter.
And Adam, let me just make it clear that I do want exactly what you want. I want Russia to stop and go home. Personally, I don't think it's going to happen.
So how come Donald Trump, the person you're voting for, doesn't say that?
I think he sees the same thing I see.
Why doesn't he tell them to go home? Why does he say, I just want the war to stop? Why does he not tell them to leave?
I think he knows they won't.
No. Why does he not put his foot down and say, I want Russia to leave. That's how we resolve this conflict.
Do you think Russia will leave?
That's not the point.
That's not the point, Tony.
He's emboldening
precisely the
him to
point.
continue
It's
to
not.
understand that Donald Trump's authority, right? He's the president-elect, right? Do you think it emboldens Vladimir Putin when Donald Trump, who's now going to be the president of the United States, is not condemning his actions?
Okay, let me put.
No, answer the question. V, thank you so much for the galaxy. Do you think that it emboldens him when he refuses to condemn his actions? Do you think it in any way emboldens this authoritarian to continue to aggress upon Ukraine, to continue to threaten nuclear deployment, to continue
what he wants,
to
the
do what he's
warm
doing,
water for
when the incoming president of the United States will not even condemn his interference in our elections?
You know, I don't know that I've heard Biden condemn.
What?
I mean, he said
You
Russia,
haven't heard Biden condemn Putin's interference?
What
He's done it multiple times. He's said everything he needs to say. So I don't know if you don't pay attention, but Biden's done it several times, dude. Several fucking times.
He's
But
also
yet he didn't
condemned
authorize
Russia
its
and Vladimir
use of-
Putin for their invasion of Ukraine.
Yet he did not authorize the firing of long-range missiles into Russia until
Why
what?
are you so hung up on this, Tony?
Trying to see how this thing ends.
So wait, you think no. So you wait. What why would he do it at that time? So do you think North Korean troops being sent to Russia was an escalation?
I think it's a sign that Russia needs troops.
You think it's an escalation?
I don't know about an escalation.
Oh my God. Well, there's your answer, everybody.
But
he just said North Korean troops going to Russia is not an escalation. Holy shit.
Wait a minute.
I'm not waiting.
Never let me
Tony.
finish
You're
my
not in good
statement.
faith. You're not in good faith, Tony. Right?
I am in very good faith.
No, you're
And
not.
what I'm saying is, I don't know what the state of the Russian army is. I think they need it. So I
Doesn't
don't know
matter.
what's
It doesn't matter. It's still an escalation.
It's a replenishing.
Oh my God. Tony won't admit that North Korean troops going to Russia is an escalation, but we're supposed to believe that Tony is on our side here.
Tony, when foreign troops come in to bolster your ranks, that is 100% an escalation of the conflict.
Especially, Matt, from
bolster
another
or replenish?
authoritarian.
It's the
Especially,
same
Matt,
fucking thing, Tony.
Yeah, and
Well,
Tony,
you are
it's also
angry.
not just coming from another foreign. It's coming from a country that has also threatened the United States and the West continuously with nuclear deployment. Also hates the United States, an adversary. So it's not just a random country. It's also a country that we deem a threat to the United States. Sending troops to another country we deem a threat to the West and the United States. But that's not a
You
threat.
asked me
everybody.
if it was bolstering. I said it might be bolstering.
No,
could
I
be
asked you, is it
replenishing.
an escalation?
Escalation? And
I asked you, is it an escalation of the conflict for North Korea to send troops to Russia? Yes or no?
I don't know if it is. Because
Oh my God.
Well, wait a minute. Gosh, you just won't shut
No,
up.
you're
you
a
guys, You guys are
disingenuous
really
Muppets.
ate up with this.
You're a disingenuous
this
Muppet. You're starting to
left-
piss me off now.
You're the typical leftist.
Tony,
Here it
Tony.
is. It's starting to come out, Matt. You see?
Shut
Yeah,
up.
I know. The typical
up.
left, blah, blah, blah.
You're
Hey,
the
Tony,
typical.
shut up.
You're the typical
You shut
left.
up.
Tony,
You shut up.
Tony,
up. You
Tony.
shut up.
Tony, real quick. Yes or no? As long as the Ukrainian people have the will and desire to defend their homelands, we should support them.
Let's see if you can unmute Goof. Tell me to shut up.
Yes or no?
All Trump supporters are
No,
uneducated
hey, Tony,
idiots.
Tony,
76
yes or no?
million of us are garbage.
Tony, yes or no? As long as the Ukrainian people have the will and desire to defend their homeland, we should support them.
I think you're right.
Then shut the fuck up, Tony.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, I'll be glad to.
Yeah, Tony, you're a goof.
But let me just point out one thing to you. and take it,
Point
take
it out.
Take
Point
it
it out.
for what it's worth.
All right,
and
go
please
ahead.
listen. Don't fall into
Nobody gives a shit. There's a sock for your big, loud, wrong mouth. Muppet. I'm going to listen to some Republican fucking...
Let me just
Yeah, right.
recap what just happened here. I asked Tony, do you think as long as the Ukrainian people have the will and desire to defend their homeland that we should keep supporting them? He went, yes. But let me put this out there.
Yeah.
So shut the fuck up, Tony.
But he's also, and I think he does understand, but also like how dangerous it is to push this propaganda is the problem, right? The stuff that's being said, like, oh, there was an informal assurance made that they wouldn't move eastward, and it's like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, and then right before he would ask the next question, you go, but I did read that in multiple credible places, and then he try and move on to the next, right? Because he wants to perpetuate that these ideas are true, even though he knows they're not, right?
Yeah.
Tony, by the way, you're probably a bigot. I'm confident saying you're probably a bigot too. Just saying.
100%.
And can I just point out to everybody else, I don't know as much as Adam and Matt here in regards to this. So did y'all see what I did though? Sat quietly. I learned. I educated myself and everything. Wasn't just arguing to argue for fuck's sake and everything. Tony, you need to listen to people.
Well, Tony also wants like an answer. So like this is this disingenuous argument Republicans make. Okay, well, can you tell me how you think it ends? As if we're supposed to have an answer, like specifically, how does it end? Did you think that would have been a legitimate answer when Russia or when the Reich was expanding across Europe? Like, no, we don't know exactly how it ends, right? You approach this the best way you possibly can, which is to minimize their aggression. Vladimir Putin's not the good guy, and there's an effort by the right to make him seem like a sympathetic figure, and he's not.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Tony. I'll give you a guess on how this ends after I consult my tea leaves and my Nostradamus predictions, and we'll figure out how this all comes to a close. All right.
We can say this though: it is more likely, right? Like confidently, just based off a number of different factors, right? And most of them historical references and how these things typically go and the actions of Vladimir Putin and other circumstances, that if we allow him to become more powerful, that we probably end up in a war with him at some point. And he's openly stated, like I quoted him, 2005, talking about the collapse of the Soviet Union. I can talk about other things he said, that he wants to recreate the Soviet Union. That's not good for the United States. Like, that's bad for the United States. Russia becoming more powerful is bad for the United States, period. That's all there is to it. We are more likely to end up in some kind of a conflict. It is likely they attack Poland or another country, likely Poland, if we do not minimize their aggression. That's just based off a number of different factors. Can we definitively say this is going to happen or this is going to happen? No, you can't. It would be impossible to do that. That's why it's a disingenuous question. So, Tony, would you like to give a closing statement?
I would.
Okay. So what's your closing statement?
Okay. My closing statement is this. You have good points.
Nobody cares. Have a good day.
I'm praying real hard for some divine intervention on what the future holds, Tony. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm
Why
gonna
are you
listen
praying
to
to yourself, Matt?
my advice to Tony, like truthfully, like if I was gonna give him any advice and he wanted to do better, like in terms of, understand the harm of perpetuating some of these talking points. Like, it may seem innocent that you're pushing the idea that there was an informal assurance, but for people listening, they may then think that Vladimir Putin has justification because of NATO, right? That's dangerous stuff. Like, that's not okay to just say that kind of stuff. It's not innocent. Oh, I'm just inquiring whether or not, well, number one, it wasn't a binding document anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. But like just the idea that there may have been, and also just so you know, guys, that comes from the Kremlin. That comes from Russia. This guy literally made a name, Adam Cries 33. You actually went and made a name, Adam Cries 33, and you think you're winning?
Oh, he's a fan.
That's fucking.
That is a fan.
That's dedication. That really is. Yeah. TK, what's going on?
Yeah, just with this. I don't understand why you are talking about the Ukraine thing because you're under deportation stuff.
because it's a topic that came up in the live and we have been discussing. You think because this background's on, like it's the law that I must now talk only about deportation? And like,
Well, no, I just wanted to jump up here to tell you that Trump won. Quit your fucking crying, you fat bitch.
wow, that's profound. Is that all you got?
Fuck.
That's all I
Devastated.
have.
Fucking devastated.
That was, guys. I think I'm gonna quit now.
I gotta delete my TikTok account. I'm fucking devastated.
TK Hawk can't even figure out how to leave the box. He turned his fucking phone off. Major L. He
Genius.
turned his phone off. Trump won.
I don't even think that's the first time I've been told that today.
Yeah, it's not. That's like on a scale of 2 out of 10 from what people have said to me today. Jeez.
I was gonna say, at least get a little more creative about it.
Yeah. Like at least make me laugh.
At least come up and call me stolen valor if you're gonna try and say something, please. All right.
I'm not gonna call you stolen valor because they don't think it's USMC. They think it's US
McAngry.
DA24, what's going on?
How's it going? Apologies for that last guy. I don't know what I voted for Trump, but obviously don't support people like that. So apologies that there are people like that exist on this platform.
I would say that I hate to say this though, DA, like that's a large portion of your voter base that supports that kind of.
That's the majority.
So that's not true, but we could disagree on that for sure.
I mean, do you think who do you think talks to more voters? Like, do you think you talk to more voters than me?
I mean, on this platform, probably not.
No, there's nowhere. I talk to thousands of people.
Okay,
There's zero chance you talk to more voters about politics than I do. And I can tell you that regularly Trump supporters regurgitate this exact same thing.
So, like, regularly, Trump supporters call you a, what was it?
Oh, you mean that guy? I thought you were, my apologies.
Yes, call you a, what was it?
Oh, you mean that guy? I thought you were, my apologies. My apologies. Well, I mean, to be honest with you, I could argue the same thing.
Yes.
I understand on this platform, yes. Like those people exist on this platform. The last guy I was talking about.
I will be honest with you, D. I did think you were talking about the Ukraine thing more than I already forgot. I actually forgot about
No.
That's how often they say that to me. But go ahead. What's up?
Look, I guess from the banner up top, I do agree with, deportation needed. The program itself, in regards to illegal immigration, not talking about immigrants that are, here legally, but we do need to address it as a problem. I mean, obviously, we can both agree that it is a problem, correct?
I can agree that the immigration system is outdated and needs to be revamped.
Yeah, I don't think anything justifies mass deportation, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's you can look at the reports, right? And the overall number, we'll kind of see what happens. But, just from the reports they gave out, we know that the most famous case probably right now, in the country.
Here it comes.
Is the Laken Riley case. Right? There shouldn't be a reason. There shouldn't be a reason why that individual
Can I ask a question about that?
Yeah.
Sure,
Before you do, can I
absolutely.
just state something for the record? Because this is so important that I state this. Number one, their family has asked that you guys please stop using her name as a political talking point. So I just want to let you know.
Just to prove the point,
to stop doing that.
Just to prove the point real quick.
No, you can respond.
If
It's already
she
been
had
said.
been-
But
If she had been unalived by an American citizen, would you know her name?
If it was a situation that the news reported on it, yeah. I mean,
Awesome.
you would know. He would go through the court cases. and
Again, though,
he would-
if she was somebody that was unalived by an American citizen, would you know her name?
It honestly depends. It depends, right? For me, yes, I would, because it's close proximity to where I'm at. So yeah, I would know in that situation. Yes.
Cool. What's my son's name then?
Others may not. Others
Cool.
may not.
Hey,
but again, it doesn't take away from the fact that this is one case of multiple that are happening, right?
No,
13,000
let me just
unalivers.
establish something. So when it comes to this specific amount of crime, the point is that if you want to lower the rate of homicide, right? or sexual assault, things like that. The thing is, your target would not be undocumented immigrants because they're committing crime at 1/4 the rate of American-born citizens, specifically related to violent crime. So the fact that you're bringing this up as a justification to demonize, can you not interrupt me? The fact that you're the fact that you're bringing this up for the purpose of demonizing an entire population of people and then justifying a deportation operation is the problem, as they are not committing that crime, specifically violent crime, at the rate anywhere near an American-born citizen. In fact, if you wanted to lower the rate of homicide and sexual assault, you'd be focusing on white Christian men. So this is why I find it quite disingenuous. I don't believe that you actually care about the rate of homicide or sexual assault. I think that you just want to demonize. You want to use these incidents to demonize an entire population. Look, why do you think when Republicans try and prove their point, chat, right? Why do you think when Republicans are trying to prove a point when it comes to undocumented immigration, right? And they're saying that I want to justify demonizing and deporting these people. Why do you think they don't cite statistics? Why do you think they don't provide data? Why do you think that guys like DA24 don't come up and tell me the number of undocumented immigrants that are committing violent crime every single year? They bring up names like Laken Riley because the data does not support the point. The data doesn't support.
Yeah, that's not true.
It does. Are undocumented immigrants committing crime at anywhere near the rate of American-born citizens?
Again, but the difference between
answer my question, please. Are undocumented immigrants committing crime, specifically violent crime, at the rate anywhere near American-born citizens?
In total numbers, or in a
the rate? Again, it's a very straightforward question. Are undocumented immigrants committing crime at a rate anywhere near American-born citizens? Yes or no?
No, because the number of
and it has been
immigrants,
that case for the last.
Well, no, because that's not based in good faith, though, and you know that, right? That's you cherry picking what stat you want to use.
DA, I'm going to tell you why that number is based in good faith, because that's not a number based on the overall population. That's a per capita rate.
Right, but the difference between the two that we're talking about is one is a U.S. citizen that obviously will see the court of law and go through the process and be held accountable for their actions.
Undocumented immigrants, the person who just unalived Laken Riley, did they go to court?
I was going to say the same thing.
In that instance, yes, correct.
Excuse me, did she, hold on, let me just prove a point here. Did they just go to court?
Yes, they did.
And do undocumented immigrants have constitutional rights to due process?
Sure.
Okay, so they see a courtroom. They're criminally prosecuted.
Right.
Also, let me ask you. No, hang on.
So in that instance, they do. But yeah, are we going to act like the catch and release doesn't exist?
They do.
No, it is. It is. Are we going to act like the catch and release doesn't exist? Are we going to act like that person in this situation that we're talking about didn't already commit? Hold on a second. Are we going to act like the person that we're talking about didn't commit a crime prior to being then let out and then committing this other crime as well?
He committed this was due to illegally crossing the border.
It's incredibly disingenuous and weird.
He did not. What crime did he commit?
No, it's incredibly disingenuous and weird for you to be lobbying for an unaliver.
What crime did he commit?
You're literally lobbying.
I'm not supporting an unaliver. You just insinuated he committed another felony, was released. That's not what happened. Okay, this was due to his immigration status. It had nothing to do with him committing he didn't hurt someone else and then was released. Nice try. Go ahead.
He committed a misdemeanor in New York.
Nice fucking lie. Go ahead.
Here's what I want to say to DA and everybody like him, and I'm asking you this question, DA. Where, and this is what Adam and Matt have been alluding to for like 10 minutes, where can you justify to me that there is a high enough priority to the American people that we should commit our time, energy, and resources to this mass deportation program over a mass everybody have health care program, over a mass fix our education system program, over a mass stop kids from getting shot in school program? Why are we dedicating and making this the number one priority? The incoming president of the United States has said on day one he will begin this program. He also said there is no cost that is too big to implement this program. He has said that this is his priority day one. Where is the justification for the resources and time and focus from the highest level of governments to justify that? Go.
Yeah, and the constitutional consequences, due process, Fourth Amendment, 14th Amendment complications. Like, I mean, seriously, what the fuck? The DA wouldn't be able to tell you how you could successfully conduct this deportation operation.
Nor can he justify it.
He would not be able, not only would he not be able to justify it, he wouldn't be able to tell you how you can successfully do it without infringing on people's constitutional rights. You fucking can't.
It's impossible because we already, here's what else these guys don't understand. We already deport people that aren't supposed to be here, which is why so many people were deported under Biden and Obama, and they love to bring it up. Yeah. So it's because we already deport you if you're not supposed to be here. So if we're going to conduct a mass deportation, then we're going to do what? Continue deporting the people that we're already deporting, just what, all in 1 week or something? No, they're going to target people that are here legally. They're going to target DACA. They're going to target people that may be in the process on the current path to citizenship and aren't there yet. They're going to target people that do not need to be targeted with any kind of deportation program, because that's the only way you can do a mass deportation, because the people who should actually be deported, it's already happening.
Right.
And can we be honest? Stop using Laken Riley's fucking name.
Please.
Push your stupid ass political fucking argument.
And remember, Donald Trump's assistant chief of staff of policy, fucking Stephen Miller, has said that the Office of Deportation or Denaturalization is about to get ramped up.
Damn.
So this whole idea that it's just going to be undocumented or people that are here illegally makes no fucking sense, because the Office of Denaturalization that was established under Donald Trump's previous administration is about to get ramped up again, because that's what his chief of staff for policy has said they're going to do. So even if you are a naturalized citizen, if there's anything in your record that they could use to justify stripping you of your citizenship and sending you away, they're going to.
And Matt, if you or I or Adam or anybody who else has half a brain starts putting the puzzle pieces together, you're trying to put the military in the street, you want to purge generals with a board, you want to give police immunity, you're using mass deportation as a we start putting these puzzle pieces together and say, hey, wait a minute, I think you're just using this as a way to establish martial law light to begin then turning the military against that enemy within that you talked about during your campaign. And you're just trying to have some purified Aryan race here. If we start saying that, you're conspiracy theorists, fear mongers, even though this is the most obvious common sense equation since the 1930s.
And I'm trying to talk to Trump supporters. If you're not a Trump supporter, please hop out of the guest box.
And let's not forget that Texas recently has told the incoming president that they've got thousands of acres of land that they would be willing to give over to his administration to set up deportation camps.
And I spoke with retired.
Yeah, they have to expand detention facilities in order to.
They have to, because actual deportation.
You can't do it.
Not plausible. You have to put people in camps, and that's what they're going to do. 100%. And I spoke with retired Major General Randy Manner, who has an incredibly impressive resume of positions he held while he was a 2-star general in the United States Army. And he stated he was going. I asked him during our interview, "Hey, President Trump is talking about using the military as this mass deportation. Like, how plausible or feasible is that?" And he said, to use the National Guard. Well, I was talking, but he said to use the National Guard. There's a very low requirement. All you need is a governor who's willing to give their troops to the president, and boom, National Guard.
I read about that.
There's a much higher bar of. There's a much higher bar of like. What's the word I'm looking for? Like higher standard to be able to use federal troops, which declaring a national emergency would do that, and Donald Trump has alluded to doing that.
Exactly. So are we a third world country now where we just prance our troops around our street? Is that what we're going to be?
Well, we hope that's what we're advocating against.
All right, because it doesn't sound like he's advocating.
Wait, are you a Trump supporter?
Fuck no.
Okay, yeah. What do you mean it doesn't sound like he's advocating it? That's literally what we're talking about. That's problematic.
I came in at the last end. I apologize.
Yeah. We're 100% explaining how problematic that is and unprecedented and wild it would be. But
problematic.
The issue is Trump supporters will say, you don't know he's going to do that. This is the thing they'll say to me now. Like, you don't know that he's going to do that. It's like, first of all, and this is part of the reason like the ACLU has filed suit already, because they want clarity on how you're actually planning on doing this because of the constitutional consequences. Also, how taxpayer dollars are going to be spent. We're talking these same people that have been complaining about Ukraine, which actually pertains to national security and is actually about protecting the United States for decades to come, right? The health of NATO and how that affects the health of the United States, are now saying it's justified to use $330 billion annually to deport people who are literally not doing anything, not committing crime anywhere near.
Well, they are doing something. They are doing something. They're contributing to our economy.
Right. That's what I was trying to explain. Thanks for coming up. Appreciate it. So, that's kind of what I'm trying to explain here, is that they're actually stimulating the economy, contributing $90 billion to our tax system, much of which into federal programs we don't receive the benefit of. And yet Republicans are okay spending $88 billion per 1 million people. Deporting 1 million people will cost $88 billion, $330 billion annually to deport these people, and Republicans don't give a shit about the tax dollars in this circumstance.
Yep.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Exactly.
Man, I gotta
That
bounce,
makes
guys.
sense.
I got an appointment. I gotta bounce.
Later, man. Take care.
See you guys.
Later, Matt.
Donald, what's going on?
Hey, not much, man.
What do you think about the deportation program?
I'd say go ask President Obama. He's the expert at deporting people.
But Donald Trump says he's going to
over an
conduct
8-year
the
period.
Donald
Over
Trump
an
says
8-year period, using existing systems and already set aside money and programs, not a mass deportation that begins on day one, using the military, overriding existing systems, creating new offices to make this possible, building camps to put people in. Like, this is not even the same thing. You're comparing apples to fucking coconut trees.
Chat real quick. I'd appreciate everybody tap the screen, share the live, quick commercial break, contribute to the gifting goal. All those things help push us onto the FYP. If you guys would like to support the live, you can on Venmo. My Venmo's Adam Cray Politics. My Cash App's Adam Cray, but I'd appreciate at least tapping and sharing if you can't do that. Listen, Donald Trump says he's going to conduct the largest, he's been clear about that, the largest deportation operation in the history of our country.
And he keeps using the number 30 million, by the way, which that number doesn't even exist. So to hit this magical number, you're going to have to deport people that shouldn't be deported, infringe upon American rights, racially profile, put the military and the police in the street, temporarily suspend the Constitution under a national emergency that doesn't exist. I mean, dude, this.
Which, I mean, you can't like even really like this. This is so fucked. I mean, you can't. How can you do that? I mean, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you care about your constitutional rights, Donald? Let me ask you a question. Do you care about your constitutional rights, Donald? Like, how much do you value? Of course
I do.
What?
Of course I do.
Okay, and what are some rights that are important to you?
Second Amendment, no doubt.
Shocker, the Second Amendment. Okay. So what about your Fourth Amendment? Is your Fourth Amendment as important to you as your Second Amendment? He's Googling what his Fourth Amendment is right now. Donald, can you unmute, please? I'm not interested in waiting until Google answers. Just say I don't know so we can move on.
No, my bad. I was just...
you know your Fourth Amendment, Donald.
Isn't it the search and seizure?
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, great. Please don't do the Google game. Like, just say you don't know. And
I'm not, dude.
So yes, it's unreasonable search and seizure. So can you explain to me just how you would successfully conduct the largest deportation operation, right? Any undocumented immigrant is being removed. How do you successfully?
There is nobody on planet Earth than the legal immigrants that came into this country that would want these suckers out of here. So I would say hire the legal immigrants, all right? Conduct a massive job career You know what I mean? Place
No,
and
we don't.
have
No, we
these
don't know what you mean.
have these
What if your
legal.
parents? What if your parents were illegal, but you were born here? Is that should you stay? And your parents get kicked out?
Yeah.
And then what would you do?
Well, these people, the first thing they did.
No, no. That's what I want. I just want to know where. Just tell me where we're drawing the line. No, I don't want to hear these people.
On their first act of having anything to do with America, the first thing they did was break the law by entering the country illegally.
Listen, I'm trying to make a point.
who
By
they
the
are.
way, Jolly,
We don't
it's
know where
funny.
the
These
F
guys
they're
always
from.
plead to Donald, shut up. So it's funny how these guys always plead to legality. Jolly, they voted for a fucking felon.
Felon, literally. Donald,
the
listen.
first thing they
Yeah,
did
a felon-
was broke the law, and they voted
The
for a
whole, the
felon.
whole
Voted for a
fucking
fucking
thing
felon.
was a witch hunt,
Donald,
which we're
Donald,
seeing
Donald,
right before
Donald, my
our
question
eyes.
is
All
simple.
those
Can you stop talking?
fraudulent cases against Trump
Donald,
are
I'm
all
asking
falling
you to
apart. Sorry,
Donald,
guys.
Donald,
Sorry to
listen. I'm
disappoint
talking
ya.
logistics. Listen to me. If you, let's say you're here, you were born in America, but your parents came here illegally. Should you stay and your parents go, or should you both be kicked out? I want to know what your thoughts are.
It depends. So, like, there are many American citizens that were born here. Those are named. They're called anchor babies.
So, like white people.
They have not. They have
Hang on. So,
nothing
Donald,
to do with America.
so every white person
Those
here, right?
those.
Hang on. I want to clarify. So every white person here is an anchor baby.
No, anchor babies
Well, all the
are.
white people came here illegally. Did they apply for visas? Did they get vetted? Did they have to pass the citizenship test, or they just fucking pull up?
Yes, they did actually.
No, they didn't.
Really?
No, they
Wow.
didn't.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
In the
You anchor
21st
baby.
century, they sure as shit did.
No, they didn't. You anchor baby. Listen to me. So I'm asking you: should you, as an anchor baby, be able to stay here, or what? Or is it just non-white people? Like, how are you figuring it out?
Well, how is a person that was born in the United States that had never lived in the United States, has nothing to do with America, or know the culture of his own country, or any
God, this dude's such a
presidents
fucking
for that
boss.
matter? Okay, how are those people qualified to become president of the
I'm
United
going to be
States?
honest.
one day?
His question.
Guy-
literally-
How is that?
Yeah.
You guys answer me
Where
that
do you
one.
live, Donald? Where do you live?
Vegas?
You live in Vegas?
Yes.
By the way, guys, do you see his bio says "In God We Trust"? He's fucking talking about deporting people and shit.
Yeah. You know, Jesus was an open border socialist, right?
Yeah, how Christian of you, dude. You want to just fucking
Yeah,
deport people?
no, you get the fuck out of this country. You came in here illegally.
Wow, how
Hey, what if-
Christian of you.
Okay,
How
what if
Christian
Jesus?
of you.
What if
the
Jesus
legal
went-
immigrants that came in here with their
Listen,
blood
what
and
if
sweat
Jesus
and
came?
money.
What if Jesus
and
came to
Why
everything.
does
America
it
right
sound
now?
like you're talking through a fucking karaoke machine? Shut up.
Donald,
God
what if Jesus
damn.
came here right now? Donald, listen. If Jesus came here right now,
Counter
if
arguments?
Jesus came here right now, would you deport him?
Jesus is everywhere.
No,
You can't
if
support him.
no, Jesus was born in
wouldn't be able
Palestine.
to.
Jesus was an illegal immigrant anchor baby born in Palestine. If he came to
You
America,
would not.
listen. Yes, his parents fled as refugees.
It's
They had
Jesus.
a child in a foreign
You're
country.
literally talking about
That's
Jesus.
an anchor.
Can you
Jesus
use,
is an anchor baby.
use a different
So
example?
listen. If Jesus came here right
Jesus
now,
is here in Palestine and everywhere, bro.
if
Stop.
Jesus came back right now,
Stop
would you
using
deport
the
him?
Lord's name
Donald,
in
be
vain, please.
quiet.
Would you deport the
I'm not going to answer
Palestinian
Well,
born-
put a sock in your mouth then.
Would you deport the Palestinian-born anchor baby refugee baby Jesus if he came to America right now? It's an easy question.
Guy sounds like he's talking through a 1997 karaoke machine. It's fucking, to God, it's like needles in your ear.
Fucking Jesus.
In facts, is that why?
No, you haven't said a factual thing yet.
Because I'm saying facts.
All I know is I would hire President Obama.
Come on, Donald.
to
I
be
gotta
on
go
that
here in
board.
2 minutes, Donald. Give me your answer.
Obama would definitely have a pretty solid plan on how to deport everybody.
Yeah,
He's got
Don-
3 million people deported
it's
under
not
his.
nearly the same thing. I remember it when I cared. I'm just so tired of it.
Chief, Mr. President Obama.
All right, Donald, real quick. I love you, man. Let's do this before you go, right? Hold on. This is really good, Donald, really. Like, I know you do this a lot in church.
Don't forget, Jesus was
I
not
want
ready.
everyone to join in. This is perfect for this conversation. It's a very Christian, loving conversation, right? Let's all join in together. Come on, Donald. Let's do this as we're talking about deporting people, as we're talking about violating people's human rights and constitutional rights. God praise us. As we say, they don't effing belong here.
Our God was an anchor, baby.
Praise God.
Was an anchor, baby. Was an anchor, baby. Our God was an anchor, baby.
God is an awesome
anchor,
baby.
baby.
Our God
is an anchor, baby. Our God was an illegal immigrant.
I mean, do you see the hypocrisy, Donald?
You
Like,
fuckers.
seriously.
If you were somewhere in like the Middle East, they would have fucking hung all of you bitches up.
What? You're now cursing at us?
Amen. Amen, Donald.
Oh, Donald got a strike. Perfect timing. And so oh, the irony. Oh, the irony.
Was a refugee anchor.
I mean, seriously, they get out of
baby.
church and then as soon as they get out of church, they start using like.
Well, first thing to do, keep in mind, Adam, as soon as they get out of church, the very first thing to do is go to Olive Garden and treat the fucking server like shit. That's the first thing to do. The second thing, second thing they do is leave a shit tip, the worst fucking tip.
And then they log on. Wait a second, he's live.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in there and drop a slur. That's their life. I'm gonna go eat lunch, man. Take care.
Later,
See you
dude.
later. Guys, thanks for coming. I appreciate it. If you guys would like to join the public Discord, it's in the link tree in my bio. You can follow me on Instagram and YouTube. I put content on those platforms too. I might be on later today. Don't know. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I was going to restart again, but I'm just going to go eat lunch now. All right. Love you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. See you in the public Discord. It's in the link tree in my bio. It's also in my Instagram bio. If you can't get in through the Linktree bio, go to my Instagram bio. I put the public Discord in there as well. So you can pop through that way. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day. I have to go. I'll be back later, maybe.